Welcome back to Momentum Academy. This lesson is part of our Bubble Bootcamp, where we guide you step by step through designing and building professional apps without code. You can find the link to the complete course in the description below. You can also find the link to the full playlist that we have released on YouTube in the description too. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for more Bubble tutorials like this. In this section, we're going to start configuring styles inside Bubble. This is where we shift from theory into the practical UI build. We've already covered our first app module, our UX module, and the early parts of this UI module. Now we're going to take our designs into high fidelity and begin implementing our design system using the Styles tab inside Bubble. Let's get started. Before we open Bubble, here's a quick recap of what a design system is. A design system is a set of components, rules, style guides, and documentation that you use to build a consistent interface. Most brands create their own design system. Let's open the Figma file for the Momentum blueprint and take a closer look. We explored some of this during our micro interaction session, but now we'll look at it through the lens of styles. At the top of the blueprint file, you'll see our core elements: typography, shadows, colours, spacing, icons, transitions, and a set of annotations. Most of these appear in the example file you're using, but we didn't include absolutely everything because we didn't want to overwhelm you. Below that, you'll see the components. These are the reusable UI parts that appear in most apps: accordions, alerts, avatars, breadcrumbs, buttons, cards, lists, modals, logos, charts and metrics, badges and tags, navigation bars, side navigation drawers for SaaS apps, pagination, progress indicators, overlays, ratings, scroll bars, sliders, spinners, tab systems, and tables. These are common patterns across all interfaces, and building them once in a design system lets you reuse them anywhere with consistency. Further down the file, you'll see broader resources like marketing components, application templates, and CMS components. These go beyond a design system, but they help us stay efficient and maintain a high level of quality in everything we build. For the rest of this module, we're going to refactor our app into a design system and begin organising our styles. You might have felt nervous earlier when you saw me detach all of our styles in Module 2. That was intentional. Now we're going to configure them properly. Styles achieve consistency and reusability across our UI. We can set the style in one place and control it centrally. Now let's jump into Bubble. The Styles tab is where this happens. If you want to freeze your module to progress, you can duplicate your app to save a copy of that. You'll find the Styles tab on the left. You've probably already noticed it. Bubble gives you a set of default styles including alerts, buttons, groups, icons, inputs, and text. These are useful, but they're not as precise as what we'll implement together. We won't recreate every single style from the Figma design system, but we will build the ones that our app actually needs. You can add a new style at any time. You can also filter by element type or search by name. If I type heading, Bubble shows me all heading styles instantly. When you select a style, you'll see 3 tabs: Appearance, Layout, and Conditionals. These match the element property editor you use on individual elements, just with fewer options. That's because styles only control the things that make sense at a global level, like fonts, colours, spacing, backgrounds, borders, radius, alignment, padding, and hover states. Anything too specific, such as when the input value is less than 100, make the border red, needs to be defined on the element itself. Let's walk through how to create a style. Select New, give it a name, I'll call it Test Text, and select the element type from the drop-down. I want this to be a text, so I will select that one. Select Create. Inside the style settings, I can choose the HTML tag, which is important for SEO. I can adjust opacity. I can choose the font family, font weight and font size. I can set alignment, bold, italic or underline. I can set the text colour. I can set word spacing, line spacing and letter spacing. I can also add background fills, images or gradients. Next, I can adjust the border settings, colour, width, and roundness. I can add a shadow. I can also define transitions. For example, easing the colour from one state to another over 200 milliseconds. In the Layout tab, I can set padding for the top, bottom, left and right. And I can even add conditionals, although the number of expressions is limited at the style level. Let's try changing the border colour when the text is hovered. Once a style is created, I can apply it to any element in the app. If I go back to the visual editor and select a text element, I can change its style to test text. From that moment on, changing the style updates every element using it. If I want to detach a style, I can do that as well. Detaching removes the style completely and gives me a fresh local configuration. I don't use this often, but it's useful if you want to customize something and then save it as a brand new style. I'll just undo that change. The last option is overriding. Overriding lets you change a single property while keeping the rest synced to the style. For example, if you normally left align body text, but on one screen you need it centered, you don't need a whole new style. You can override just the alignment and keep the rest consistent. I'll undo my changes now. And I'll delete the test style too. The key principle here is centralization. When you name your styles properly, heading 1, heading 2, body, caption, primary button, it becomes easy to navigate a project whether you return in 6 months or hand it to another developer. Everyone understands the naming conventions instantly. This also applies to containers. You might have noticed we've used similar settings on several containers in earlier lessons. Instead of applying those settings manually every time, we can create a container style called something like main container and apply it consistently throughout the app. We've covered most of the appearance settings: fonts, colours, opacity, alignment, borders, backgrounds, shadows, transitions, and more. The Layout tab gives us padding. The Conditionals tab lets us change padding, colours or alignment based on screen size or other states. You'll notice that the conditional expressions are limited. You can't do absolutely everything at the style level, but you can do a lot. And whenever possible, we should put these settings into the style instead of applying them to every individual element. Everything we've looked at here is part of building a design system inside Bubble, and by centralising it in the Styles tab, you save yourself significant time, avoid repetition, and keep your UI consistent everywhere. Thanks for listening. In the next lesson, we'll look at the tools and style variables that take this even further and help us build a truly scalable design system.